This right here is composed using the classic editor, and I opened up Block Editor and it has the classic editor block. So you can have the best of both worlds. So if you aren't comfortable using Block Editor, you have another option. You can use both. You're not limited to just being content using the classic editor like you may have been. So if you go here and you click, you have this pop-up that you can convert these to blocks. And what happens is each one of these are their own container with the text in it. So for example, if you wanted to take, I don't know, this right here, you can take and move this up or down. So if you wanted to create more space or move things around, if you're not happy with the layout, this is an easy way to do it. It's a lot easier to do certain things like add images. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click this plus. I'm going to type in the word image, and I am going to add an image. Now it's going to drag it down to the bottom. I'm going to pick something out of the media library that we currently have. It takes a little bit because I'm sharing my screen, so I apologize. I'm just going to grab this one just as a demonstration, but you can take and you can move these up and down. So if you have different sections and you want to add images throughout, if you want to preview it, you can actually go right here. Oops, sorry, there we go. And you can preview it in a new screen. It'll bring that up as how the readers would look at it. And you can do a real live test as you're composing. I think this is down further. Yeah, here we go. And here's the image. There's a lot of things you can do with images with the new features. You can actually create a cover and you can have some text on top of it, or you can leave it alone. You can have multiple images and create grids. Let me grab this here.
If I could just jump in real quick, I just kind of want to get a sense of where everyone's at with the block editor. I threw out a question on the chat. If you maybe could all make your way over there and just give us a sense of if you've ever used the block editor, if you use it all the time, if you're still in the classic editor most of the time. I did want to show them how to convert that to a block, Vera. So like the whole process of starting from a classic editor article and then going over to the block editor if we can, because I'm not sure.
I'll just go back.
Never used. Okay, so we're at baseline with most people. So yeah, let's just start, like, assuming they're all using the classic editor now, this is how you would normally come in and do your articles. So we want to show you if we can. I'm not sure you can on this site, Vera. Can you look at this as an actual classic editor?
Yeah, let me go back.
Okay.
I apologize. I was too quick.
Sharon, no problem. Sharon normally uses classic. Okay. So good. That's where everyone's at. Now, yeah, I just want to make sure it's clear that just, how to get to the block editor, because it sounds like Kim has no experience at all. So maybe she's not even familiar how to get to it. Okay. So
understood.
So this is what you're normally looking at. Okay. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's just say, for example, you have your story, you already have it set up the way that you want it in the classic editor. You can go back into the all articles and find that same article. There's a tab. First of all, let me show you this here. This right here, next to articles, you have your choice. You have your classic editor, which is this one here. And this right here is the block editor, which we are demoing today. And this is the article. So you have your choice. You can classic edit. Let me see here. Where is the block edit?
So the thing with this is you've got your default set to block, right? So
that's
a lot of people probably don't have that. So we'll have to, switch everyone over.
So I think the way that it's going to work is just the edit button will default to opening in what your default is.
Correct.
And like we saw that classic edit button, if your default is the classic, that will instead say block edit.
That's right.
Thank you. Right. So you'll have to look for something slightly different. But just so everyone's aware, we can change the default to block editor if you decide to just not use the classic editor much anymore, which is kind of I think the hope, because there's a lot of new features. Okay, cool.
And they're all really cool. I've been working with the team on this for a week, and I wasn't really a fan when it first came out, but the more and more that they've developed it and the more and more I use it, there is so much you can do with this. But if you see this right here, and how I open this is right here, this shows the list view of what each one of these blocks are. Right now it just says classic because it has the classic editor block. But if I click that, I can convert them into their own sections and see what happens. It lists everything down. So this right here is the first paragraph. This is the first headline, and it'll jump you through if you need to do things.
Now let's pause here for a second, Vera. I think this is great. A great thing for everyone to just try and do on their site right now. If you're logged in, try and do it, because if you have any issue, we can address it immediately. We can show it to you, or you could share your screen if you want to. We can invite anyone to join as a panelist just so they can share their screen. But I really want this to be as interactive as possible, and I'm looking for as much feedback as we can get. So let's take kind of a pause here and just let people load their site and just kind of break down. Yeah, because a lot just happened there. You just converted a very complicated article that was designed in the classic editor with that WYSIWYG interface that they have there. It's not fully what you see is what you get, but it's close. And now it's fully like, this is a preview. So it broke down that article into multiple paragraphs. You have and now you have this list view. So let's talk about that a little bit. The list view is really the key to the block editor, and I think what's going to speed things up, because you can just see your whole article at once, this outline. Well, they call it a list view, and then there's also the outline. What's the difference there? It's just the way they present it. HT.
Well, it gives you the section.
The headers.
So, like, yeah, each header is another part. So
that's more of like a table of contents.
Sure. Yeah, yes. That's more abbreviated. But then the list view, you can see every single paragraph block. And as Vera's showing you now, and I know you might be looking at your site and listening to me, but as you roll your cursor over the list, it's highlighting what you're over. So it's very easy to find things. So I want to open it up to the group real quick and just see if anyone's having any issues with logging onto their site and trying this out. If anyone is in the middle of that and has questions, just jump in at any time. Let's see. Anything else about this that you got? So now you got these. I think what would be the next thing we want to show? Maybe covers, or what do you think, Vera?
Well, that's what I was going to do, but yeah, I just wanted everybody to get familiar with the placement, like the list view, what it does, what you can do. Now, what I was going to say is, like, if I were to take this headline, for example, I already demonstrated you can move it up or down,
right?
But you can actually move it up or down in the list view as well.
Right.
So it just is a matter of what workflow you are used to, but it's an efficient way of doing things. You can just drag and drop it where you want it.
Right.
You can do that with images, paragraphs, the subheads that break up the different articles. To add an image, you can click here, or if you notice, I think it is, let me see, sorry, there we go. You can actually hit the enter or return key, and you can add a block here instead of putting it the plus up top.
Or Vera, as you see the prompt, you can actually just type a / too. If you're just kind of going through and composing a new one, and you can start typing image there, and it'll pop up for you too.
Oh, so you type / and then you got to type image or paragraph.
It's a super quick way. Yeah, super quick way.
Nice keyboard shortcut. Nice. Okay. So adding images is pretty similar, though. I mean, the media library hasn't really changed. Okay, great.
And then you can adjust the size here. Let me bring up the list view. You can see the image has been added here. And then if I open this, you can actually get different things you can do. You can make it rounded. Of course, you can adjust the sizes here, if you wanted it to be more square. Just play around with it until you get, the look and feel that you want to show to your readers. But if you click the image itself, you also could do media and text. So if you have something you want to say about this image, you can go ahead and do that. Or you can go to, where is it, cover? There it is, cover. You can make it a cover, and you can just type out whatever you want, or you can leave it alone. You could also adjust the opacity. That way it pops out a little bit more. You can also adjust the font, be larger or smaller, depending on what you are trying to achieve with it. It's just a neat way of doing things and breaking up the article.
Vera, you might demonstrate how you can drag. Let's say you wanted to use this image as a section break. You could actually drag one of your headings, or put the image up close to where you would have a heading, and you can drag the heading right into the cover. You might need to twirl it down, the cover that is. There you go. And then you can remove the paragraph that's there, and then of course go and adjust the heading style and all that kind of stuff to create kind of a section break for that.
I think I just deleted it. Let me hit, there we go. All right, and I'm sorry, what were you saying about how would I delete this part here?
Oh, you could use the 3-dot menu that's to the right in the list view, or there's the 3-dot menu on the float. You just need to scroll down because that menu often shows. No, you need to scroll down in the menu that pops up there. Yeah, there you go. And now you can do whatever kind of fun styling you'd want to do to make the heading stand out more with the typography tools and whatnot.
Okay. So what we could do is we could justify that to the center. We can make it bold. We could even add a hyperlink, and here's some more other things that you can do. You can make it as large as you'd like. I like to keep it on large. That seems well proportionate. Any questions about this?
Hey, I just have a question for Tyler. Tyler, I didn't know this was going to be a hands-on demo, so I wasn't prepared with our demo site to be up.
Sure, no problem.
You provided that to me, but I can't log in. I don't know what a password is.
I will get you your login information.
Thanks.
In a second here, no problem.
Yeah, in parallel, Kim. Yeah, we didn't really explain it was going to be interactive. We're kind of trying a new thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is all new to me, so
yeah.
It would have been helpful to know that, because I feel like while I'm checking for the website password, I'm missing out on everything that you people are talking about right now.
Don't worry about it, because we'll follow up with a whole recording, and we're going to use our meeting summarizer, so you can just jump back to the time points just to see everything. So yeah, I am. And if you'd rather just watch, we can always stay on after to get you logged in and make sure. It's totally up to you, Kim. You don't have to get logged in.
It's all new to me, so the reason I signed up is I figure any bit I can glean is helpful.
Right.
It's just frustrating to have it be suddenly a hands-on thing that I'm not prepared for and
it's not
able to access.
Sure. No, I understand. Yeah, that's totally fine. I think it might just make sense for you to we could stay on after the call and get you logged on then. Don't even worry about logging in. Let's just talk, while we're doing the webinar. Is that okay?
Sure.
Cool. And thanks for speaking up. Okay, so I think one thing I was going to suggest is we could look at Kristina's project at one point. Oh, sorry, quite a bit lower than Kim. Thank you. I'll just step up there. Kristina's project at Signals. So this is a real thing that is going to be going live.
Hi again. I just wanted to go over what I did here. So this was composed on their site, and I just took everything from that article and I just moved it here. What I did, Kristina, was I added a custom HTML block, and I got the code from the first to know with the sign-up form. I pasted it right here. And you can actually preview it by going into this here. Sometimes it works in the block editor, but more often than not, I like a true test of what the readers are going to see. So this will break this down to make sure that there's no broken code or any issues that you may experience. And then if I go here, this right here is the actual form itself that the readers would fill out to sign up for their newsletter, to be on the first to know newsletter list. If I scroll down, there was going to be a testimonial that you wanted to add. And I went ahead and I used that cover. I added these images into a grid pattern. And if I bring up the list view and we go to grid, you can actually expand it. So here's one cover. You can adjust the alignment of where the text is. You can make the images larger or smaller, and you can throw it in like that. You don't have to do this. You could actually use a background or a color to have this pop out a little more. I just thought it would be fun to put a face with the testimonials, just for an example. If I bring up this here and I go into this one here, I can adjust the amount of columns. So I went to grid and then I went to the gear here. I can make this 4 by 4, and let me just close this so that way you can see it a little better. So you could add images all like that. You could also go here and you could stack them out. And that's kind of like what your advertisers are above. I just thought I would show you how easy it is to convert things. So if you like to grid, you can do that. If you like to stack, you can do this. If you need to adjust the rows, you bring up the grid in your list view, and then you can adjust. Oh, it was here. Did I miss something, Christopher?
Switch it to manual.
That's what I'm forgetting. Thank you. So then you can go ahead and go back to 2 by 2. So that way they're stacked, but they're still in that grid pattern. I'm eager to see if Kristina has any issues with this.
So I think we can definitely follow up with this after the fact with Kristina if you like, but maybe if you want to just back up to the top for a second, Vera, and let's just start with what you did there as far as the ads go. Because Kristina, I believe this is a project you were working on, and we just kind of thought it would be interesting to work on it in real time a little bit here.
It is a project I am working on. I'm actually looking at my draft of the same article, and on the front side, I can see the form between the 2 images of the postcard. On the back side, I don't see the text at all, the code. Like, there's nothing showing.
I was going to follow up with you on that. Yours is a little different.
Okay.
I had to paste it into the text editor in order for me to achieve the look and feel of it. I was going to show you how to do that independently since it was a little different. But normally you could just go to here and just type in the first couple words, get the custom, and then paste the code in. And then you can preview it and see the form and make sure that everything's working. But this is the actual form itself that I grabbed. And of course, you can move it down. You don't have to keep it up there, or you can move it right above the first image. I'm not sure where you would want it, but I just wanted to show how easy it is to add it and maneuver it once it's there. One other thing that I thought that was pretty neat is you have all these independent ads here, but they're pretty linear. I wanted to show you that if you do it in a grid, you can actually do the same thing as you did with the testimonials down below. You can actually collate them in individual grids here. You can make them 2 by 2. You could, change everything around to where if you only want 3, you have 3, or you can adjust it down to 2, make it a little larger. It's not going to change the functionality that if you click on it, it's still going to go to the website. It's just a different way of displaying it instead of having, the infinite scroll, as a guy likes to refer to it. It's an easier way of seeing it on a mobile device or on, a different tablet or PC version, just for the aesthetics. But you could always play around and look that you want, since this is going to be something that you're for.
All right. So anything else, Kristina? Any other questions on that or feedback at all?
Not at the moment. I think, for this particular project, going off the meeting would be best.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So then, Vera, what else did we have on our list? We showed the grid and the cover image. Did we want to maybe walk through that example of the restaurant listing?
That's where I was going to go to.
Cool.
Yeah, we have this here that Christopher made. I love this thing so much. And go in and copy this element. And this right here is our mock-up. Let's put it right here. And this is really a nice thing that we've been playing around with. This is a cover on the back. And if you think of the example for the testimonials, these would be the testimonials, so to speak. But when we were playing with the design and layout of this. Watch what happens when you move things around. Let me close this. And it does something really amazing. Let's see, where was it? I think the block had to have a color, if I'm not mistaken. But you can move this around where you want. You can make some changes to it, to where if you go here, you can change the focal point of the background for the cover. You can change the opacity or overlay color just to give it a little bit of pop and highlight things. You can...
Yeah, one thing I'm hoping, sorry to jump in there, Vera, but one thing I'm hoping is that you all will see this as a tool that, you know, could really give you a lot more design flexibility. And it's what you see is what you get. You're seeing the preview in real time. This is the big change from the classic editor to the block editor. Because with block editor, you were using code, I mean, to do anything complicated, you know? So with this one, we can change, you know, you kind of have like Adobe-like features, it seems. So like these color changes, we've got the duotone. Can we talk about the whole duotone and then the other filter that you can combine with it?
Yeah. So if you do duotone, these are pre-selected colors that you can use to make things stand out. You could also change the color. So let's say that's a little wild for you. You could click and pick what color you want it to be. So let's find something really obnoxious here and just kind of, you can see the background is all changing. You could also, here we go. You also have filters here as well as in here. So you have it in multiple places, but they both react the same. And again, you know, moving this around, you might want to change it when you're applying the duotone. So your shadows, let's make it black and makes it a grayscale. So there we go. You know, just playing around, you can change it to whatever you want to make it stand out and actually give a tone. You know, like if you want to use, like if it's a somber piece you're working on, you could use blues and darker colors. If it's a very positive story, you can use lighter colors to kind of give that emotional feel without conveying emotion, so to speak. I just think that is really interesting to do something like that and add. This is also great for like if you wanted to do like Q&A or you're writing an article on a congressperson or a politician, you know, and you want to bring home one of the key points from the conversation, from the interview, you could highlight it in a way that it stands out, give more of a magazine feel to it, and make it really pop on the website. Did you have another thing that you wanted to show, Matt?
Well, let's see. Let's open it up to the group and feel free to, you know, comment if there's any design, you know, elements that you'd like to see how, you know, you would do in the block editor that you're normally doing in Classic, or something that you can't really figure out how to do in Classic that you'd like to see if there's a way to do it here. Yeah, like, man, just dealing with the plugin that we had on the Classic editor for doing things like this, changing columns was kind of a pain, and you didn't have a preview right away. So, you know, things like that, just creating custom grids, any other design elements that you'd like to see on articles or pages. You know, the thing is, the block editor works on articles and pages now. So you can design like static pages, put a lot of time into them, and really, you know, do all this stuff with the images all within the editor now. So these might not be things that you do on every article, you know, especially if you're full service. You may not add covers to all the images, but yeah, I'm just kind of generally interested in how people see themselves using these tools, or how you'd like to see.
One thing I thought of would be really neat is, you know how, now this of course is in a different department. Most people here may not use this, but they may. Advertising. You know, you could put a house ad for a subscription push. You could advertise local businesses, you know, and have it as an in-article ad. It's just another method, another tool in your toolbox that you could sell and, you know, get the rewards for it. So I just thought that was worth mentioning, and how I would personally use it. You know, I might just concentrate on like Midwood Smokehouse, you know, and just have it maybe Masala Nasi in another article, if these were advertisers. I know a lot of papers, they do best of the best. You might like to have a link to that article, within your article. We do provide, related articles, but you might want to jump the gun and put it actually inside of an article that might be related and kind of push to people voting for the best of the best. It's just another way of doing things. I think it's an interesting way of doing things, and it would get a lot of response seeing something so attractive and put together. It looks camera ready. You could just print this page and be happy with it.
Right. Very cool. Yeah. I think looking forward to seeing how people apply this. And yeah, just to be totally clear, all this is going to be, summarized in follow-up blog posts. I think we put out a blog post this week on images, so that's in your newsletter. If you missed it, just let us know. We can send you a copy of that. That's got everything that we've been talking about here laid out in, just like a static article, so you can take your time with it. And yeah, sorry again about any confusion about like what the webinar was going to be. I guess maybe we should have called it a different name. It's less of a webinar like lecture and much more interactive for these Friday calls that we're hoping to do. So any other questions from Kristina or Sharon? We could also, or Kathy, we could stay on and go through one of your sites. If you guys have a specific question, we could have you share your screen. But if you're just here to listen, that's totally fine. We can just, I think we pretty much covered what we wanted to in this first one. Thank you for throwing that out there, Chris. There's a link. Oh, Chris, I think that went to, just got to watch who you're sending it to. I think we want to send it to everyone. There we go. Thank you. Okay. So that is an article that Chris wrote that really breaks it down by the different types of blocks for handling images. So you can see a lot of the things we talked about here. And again, we'll have a video of this if anyone's interested, to go back and see a specific thing that Vera did. But as you can see, she's showing now just a bunch of different ways to do your blocks and superimpose text with gradients. Hey, Sharon, so we'll send out a recording. It'll be on YouTube, and it'll have timestamps to the different topics. So yeah, we'll get that out as soon as possible. And really anyone, we're just, trying out new formats for, connecting with customers. Let us know what you thought of this. And also if you want, feel free to reach out. We'll schedule a one-on-one to go through this stuff with you all on your site. That's, always going to be an option. Just wanted to try this panel format today. Let's see. Chris, I think we covered most of the stuff that we had kind of prepared. Is there anything else you can think of? I just wanted to check with you real quick.
Didn't we want to do the staff page that Christopher did?
Well, I think the testimonial page. Yeah, sure. We can show that.
Well, I did both. There's a staff directory page and a testimonial page now as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's another great example of applying this. So yeah, could we see those? You want to send those links over to Vera so she could share her screen? So this could be something you could use for your advertisers. You create a page that's testimonials from them. It's always nice to have like a picture if you can get it. And, just with these tools, it'll be a lot easier to style those things up.
Yeah, I was thinking that it's nice to demonstrate building something from nothing at all and what you would actually use some of these blocks for. And the possibilities are endless. You can mix and match, rearrange, and drag and drop. I think that right there is the appeal to me, because before everything was manual. You had to type everything in, position your mouse where it needed to go. Oh, here we go. Christopher was wonderful enough to put this in the articles list. So this is a staff page that he created for like about us. Oh,
that's the testimonials one.
I thought that was the directory. I'm sorry. Well, that's okay. We wanted to show this too, but let me put it in preview mode so that way you can see what it would look like. But it's awesome that you could have a page dedicated to what people are saying about your publication. Get a buzz generated, and it'll help with your subscribers. Trust me. There we go. Oh, I love the covers that you've done with these. just
Yeah,
demonstrate
the
something.
Archbold one, the little acorn thing was just a little small image. And so I used that as the repeating background of the cover. Because if you use something that's small enough, you can change it and it'll just do a repeating pattern that grows. And then you can dim it with an overlay, just like the other ones. This is an example where it's the same image is used as a background as well as the feature. And then it's just using a pull quote for the testimonial content that has its own styling applied. And that one's just a fun use of a grid in a cover to create the two gradients.
Yeah, and that's just, it ties right in because we've already covered adding images and grids and converting a cover. So those are the foundation blocks that you can play around with and make this truly yours and give a sense of what you want to convey to your readers, especially for testimonials. These are very powerful. And let me go back. Is it in the articles as well for the directory?
Hey, Chris, it looks like you're muted. Could you point us or get us a link for that directory example?
I think we may have lost.
Might be having technical issues.
Matt, you're muted. I'm sorry.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, no problem. Let's just, we can package this all up and send out the examples, with the follow-up email.
Yeah.
It's just another way to show how to do covers and grids. So about us pages, restaurant guides, all that stuff. So
the staff directory, I think, is included in that images and media post that I put into chat.
Okay, great. So it'll be part of,
I think so.
Sounds good. I want to open it up one more time to Kathy, Kristina, and Sharon. If any of you have questions on the block editor, if it could be really basic, how to get into it, how to get started with it, or anything you'd like to see. And again, if not, no problem right now. This is just kind of meant to be an overview. So, all right.
I got it into our chat, our local chat there, Vera.
Oh,
it's Inspiration Hub. The first one in there is the staff directory.
Is it in the one that our chat in Slack or?
Both. I just put it in. I sent it to everybody as well because it's been published.
Thank you.
Oh. I'm sorry, that's not the right one. Sorry, it's the Inspiration Hub one. If you go back to the top of it's the latest blog post. Yeah, Inspiration Hub at the top of the recent posts. Yeah, it's that one. So that one's got the staff directory.
Yeah, look how nice that looks. I love that so much.
Yeah, so even just doing this for, the publisher, having, your whole staff on here, it really just makes it look more professional than just, HTML or, just plain looking HTML, which I think most people do. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Hopefully we can see some examples on our customers actually using this and we could share those too. But this is a great mock-up. All right, then. Thank you all very much for joining. Thank you for your questions. And we look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care and have a great weekend.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Bye.